Hello and welcome back to First Thoughts. I'm Simon, this is Justin, and I'm not cold at all. And today we're giving our first thoughts on Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. I forgot the name.
Well, that was a movie.
It was written and directed by Scott Cooper based off of the book by Warren Zane, and it's starring Jeremy Allen White, Jeremy Strong, Paul Walter Hauser, Mark Maron, Stephen Graham, David Krumholtz, Odessa Young, and more. I would say neither of us are huge Springsteen fans. We both enjoy him, but we're not like experts on the guy, so if we get facts about him wrong, sue us. Please don't.
Sue him.
But no. But we are just movie enjoyers, and we see things. This is our 67th review of the year, I think. I forget.
Christ.
We've seen a lot of shit.
I've never
Anyway,
seen that many movies in a year ever.
so in case you didn't guess, this is a biopic about Bruce Springsteen, but it's not necessarily the typical biopic in that it's not trying to cover his entire life and or career. It's from a very specific snippet, one era to more focus on, which makes it kind of easier than trying to do everything and inevitably Dewey-coxing yourself. Also, side note, I'm a huge fan personally of Scott Cooper, the writer-director. I feel like his movies are almost always underappreciated. I'm a huge fan of Antlers. For those of you who don't know Scott Cooper, he's best known for Crazy Heart, Hostels, The Pale Blue Eye, Out of the Furnace, and he also did Antlers, which I said I'm a big fan of. And he also did Black Mass, I believe. I think a very good director with movies that typically don't get very good reviews. Anyway, so I was excited to see this because, you know, no better way to try and get yourself in Oscar conversations than by making biopics, am I right? So that is...
That, yes, but very specifically music biopics.
Oh, yeah, that helps a lot.
Yes.
So, Jeremy Allen White plays Bruce Springsteen, and the whole time I was judging them for not, getting him to just do the voice. They clearly had somebody else do the voice. Why didn't they just get him to do an impression? He did it. And holy shit, it was a great impression. I was shocked by how good the impression was. I guess what they must have done is recorded it separately and layered because some of the lip syncing is not very good. But he did do it. I Googled it and it said he did it. So unless they're lying, he did do it.
No, there are some spots in this where I'm like, oh, that's not just straight up Bruce there.
Yeah,
I can hear it, but it's not bad.
But his Born in the USA was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That especially, because I'm not as familiar with his low-key, folky stuff. Like, I know his big stuff. Like, I was disappointed they didn't do the Christmas song, because, that's my favorite Bruce Springsteen song. But I am very familiar with Born in the USA, Glory Days, more of those poppy rock hits that he had. And so when he was doing his rendition of Born in the USA, I was shocked how good it sounded. But then, like I said, I guess it was lip synced later or after the fact because I was like, it didn't line up right. And for whatever reason, I guess he's not a great lip syncer. I don't know. Not everybody is. I guess we've already done it multiple times on this podcast and across channels. We love to make fun of biopics here. We always hold up the Dewey Cox formula and see how well it matches up or doesn't. And I gotta say, not a great movie, but maybe one of, if not the most human biopics I've seen in a long time. They didn't formalize it.
Yes, it was a very good decision to just focus on
People.
one moments, and even though you did have to focus on his childhood a lot for it to make
But
sense
they
in
did
this
it
movie.
differently.
Yeah, it felt like it could have gone very Dewey Cox, and then it didn't.
It didn't.
It didn't end up there.
I kept
and
waiting.
I was pretty glad about that.
Yeah.
You could see when it would seem like it was sticking to one period where there wasn't a whole lot of flashback, and there's struggle, but it's not the typical musician struggle of the, oh, I'm famous now and everybody wants me and I have a bunch of drugs and I'm sad because I did a bunch of drugs and now I have all this money and
I
people
was an
aren't real to
asshole,
me.
and now everybody thinks I'm an asshole.
Because I was an asshole on drugs, but now I'm one of
But I've got a heart of gold. They just don't know it. Yeah, no, they didn't do any of that. And you know what they definitely didn't do, which made me so happy? They didn't do, hey, guys, come here. I've got a song. They didn't do that. This was the most accurate portrayal of songwriting in a musical biopic I have ever seen in my life. Because, you know, earlier this year we had the Robbie Williams biopic, Monkey Man.
Right.
And we both, well, love maybe is a strong word, but we both really enjoyed that movie. I loved it. I don't know if you did.
Love is a strong word.
But we both praised it for being original and for being different. But one thing it didn't focus on was the writing, because Robbie Williams, that's not like his thing really, and that's not what he really cared about. He's more of a showman than he is like a writer artist or whatever. Bruce Springsteen though was going the like they're really leaning into his artist side, his poetic side, and so they showed him writing songs and changing things as he went and doing rough demos of songs and how he got the inspiration, and while he's writing, showing the memories that are inspiring these songs. It was a blast. I've never seen anything like that in a biopic before. It was so much better than the typical shit that we always get.
Yeah, I do love getting the typical shit back. It's hilarious to laugh at.
Hey guys, boom, boom, clap, all right? Boom, boom, clap, all right.
Yes.
And like I said, I'm doubling down. I don't want to say this was a perfect movie or anything. It was just wholly refreshing. And like I said, the best way I can describe it is to say that it felt very human. The characters felt like humans. They weren't turning Bruce Springsteen into this deification, this idol. They was just a human who also happened to have a music career. And so he just felt like a normal person in a movie. Everybody did. I mean, Jeremy Strong's character was a little bit over the top, but I'm assuming it's accurate because he's a great actor. I don't know. It just felt so grounded and, for the most part, real. Obviously, you know, they're always going to change some things. We fact-checked it, and there was things like his girlfriend in this is based off of multiple people. They always kind of do stuff like that. But, you know, for the most part, it seemed fairly accurate, and it was mostly good. I actually really enjoyed this movie, more than I expected to, and more than the reviews have said I would.
I guess it probably is the best music biopic I've seen in a while.
Better than Robbie Williams? Monkey Man?
That was funny.
They're very hard to compare because they're so different.
Yeah.
The Robbie Williams one, I keep saying it, what is it even called? The Better Man. Better Man doesn't feel like a biopic anymore. It just feels like a musical. And so it's hard to compare. But like as far as like straightforward music biopics, I would say that this is my favorite I've seen since at least Walk the Line.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw Walk the Line, actually, but...
You would hate it.
Yeah.
Because it's what Dewey Cox is based off of most.
So then I would love it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But most of what Dewey Cox is making fun of came from that movie.
Yeah, so I have heard that.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me that this movie's getting like 5s. I forget what it is right now, but let's check IMDb.
I mean, from the reviews I was looking at, I could see one thing that people were saying, and I kind of get it.
What?
People were saying it's kind of boring. Kind of slow and boring. It's just,
what? Because it's not doing all the cliches and fun, stupid things. I mean,
but even if it didn't, I mean, it doesn't have to do any of that. But it's a slow burn,
That's
and
fine.
due to the emotional baggage that he's dealing with at the time,
it makes sense.
it makes it even slower burn. Yeah, and it does make sense. I'm not saying it doesn't,
Yeah.
but I can see why that doesn't entertain people all that much.
Well, people need to get a grip. So its rating has gone up because it's a 6.2 right now, and it's a 61%. It was in the 5s before.
Okay.
So it is going up now that more people are seeing it, which makes me happy. Because I would love for Scott Cooper to get some goddamn recognition up in this joint. So I'm happy to hear that. I did like it more than a 5. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I should get into why I keep saying it wasn't perfect. So sure, I guess you could argue there were some pacing issues. I think it probably dragged at some points. Mainly for me, it was just the ending I thought dragged on a little bit long. But it's tough when you're trying to fit so much into a 2-hour movie. It's tough. It's hard to do that. I think also there was just a little bit of weird editing here or there as far as like you know, they're doing a lot of flashbacks in black and white. And this is such a nitpick that nobody's going to care about. I thought the editing was ugly for the black and white stuff. They needed to be more contrast. They need to be something to make it look old. It was just like, well, it's in black and white to convey that it's old, but they did nothing else to make it look old. I was like, do something, add texture to it. It just looks bland.
People see black and white, they know old.
Sure.
We're trained.
I'll also say his dad had a fat suit on it. It was pretty low quality. There was several things about this movie that felt low budget, I will say. I don't know what the budget was, but it did feel low budget at times. But that's really my only complaints. I thought the cast was great. I thought the music and the impression and all of that sounded awesome. It was a compelling story to somebody who didn't already know what happened in his life. So, I don't know. I overall thought it was an above average biopic, definitely. It was, like I said, probably my favorite since the Johnny Cash one. I don't know what else would really compare. It's certainly better than Elvis. I know a lot of people will say, you know, the Bob Dylan one, but I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah, I wasn't huge on that one either.
Like I said, there's flaws. You could nitpick a lot. You could. But for this specific genre, they did a really good job. And they went out of their way to make sure they weren't falling into pitfalls that all of these other movies do. It didn't get tacky. It didn't get sappy. But it also had emotional beats and moments to it. So, I don't know. I'm thinking 7. I'd give it a 7.
Yeah, I'm fine with the 6.5, 7, somewhere around there. Seeing his struggles, seeing his family life, I do think I'd be more interested in the book. Now, I would miss out on some of the musical performances. They were, for the most part, pretty good. I just think there were a couple. The first number in particular, I could tell it was Jeremy singing. It was a solid attempt. Yeah. And then later, other songs, he was perfectly fine. But yeah, just a couple times.
I think that's it. I mean, we'll get into spoilers. Once again, I don't really know what even counts as spoilers, but just from now on, we're going to, no holds bars, we're just going to say whatever we want to say. Except that, I'm not going to say that. So thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like, share, follow, subscribe, whatever. Thanks. Bye. So,
that was damn.
One of my biggest issues also was, as far as impact and editing or whatever you want to say, there was an issue with in this movie was his suicide attempt was very poorly shown because it didn't really read to me. I was just like, okay, he's driving recklessly because he's upset. I never thought, oh, he's trying to kill himself right now. I just thought he's driving with reckless abandon and then almost crashed.
I'm trying to think.
When in reality, apparently, he was driving with the intent to kill himself and then panicked and braked.
I'm trying to think of what convinced me in that. Because in the moments, if I had turned to you and said it, or if you turned to me and asked what I thought that scene was about, I would have said suicide attempt. And I'm trying to think of what exactly it was. Because at first I thought he was just driving off kind of recklessly.
Yeah. I thought he was upset.
But, like, I don't know. I guess maybe it was the turn. The U-turn, essentially.
Yeah.
It's just something when he was driving, I realized, was he thinking about going off into those trees there?
Yeah.
Going off maybe into other opposing traffic, but he spun himself around.
Yeah. I don't know. My favorite part of this movie, though, was kind of, I already partially said it, but like the process, thank you, the process of making the songs. And so you see him writing this stuff, but also later you see the production as well. Yeah. Especially when they're trying to get the tapes to the vinyl and they have to like reinvent the wheel because it's like to make the sound he wants, it has to be lower quality than what they're doing. So they have to do it wrong in order to get the right sound. And I found that fascinating. So it's like stuff like that I found so cool. And that's the kind of stuff you don't get in these typical biopics that are more concerned with the people doing something flashy.
No, because that's not, that's not the rocker lifestyle. That's too much detail. You know, if this was the Bruce Springsteen life story, there would not be enough time to focus on the little details of the recording of the Nebraska album.
Yeah.
Unless he was having some drug-fueled orgy while in the recording booth.
Speaking of orgies, by the way, which I often do, But no, the sex scene even in this movie was such a great example of how they were treating it differently and treating it human. The sex scene was so subdued and so intimate. Most rock and roll movie or any biopic movie sex scenes are going to be silly and over the top.
Yep.
Or just like, oh my God, amazing. And this was just this very close, intimate moment followed by a little conversation, and I was like, that was beautiful.
Listen,
that was so much better than the shit we usually get.
You don't have intimate moments with groupies, okay? Not really. And when it comes to the girlfriends and wives, we're talking about classic age rockers. All right?
They didn't have much sex.
Well,
with each other.
And it definitely couldn't be shown in movies, all right? We don't like 16-year-old characters in movies having sex with adults.
Hey, little girl, is daddy home? You ever see the Pete Holmes bit on that song?
Maybe.
Oh, God, I love that. That's all I almost died laughing during the movie when they started singing it, because all I could think of was Pete Holmes. Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave you all alone?
All I say is, why am I hearing this in a Chipotle?
I will say, actually, wait, no, like she's not a real character.
But she is living with her dad, which is a good out for that, even though she's an adult with a daughter already. You could be like, well, she's living with her dad, therefore.
See, and I thought when I first heard it in regards to the movie and thinking she might have been a real person with a daughter, I thought it was about the daughter. Hey, little girl, is your daddy home and he's gone and left you all alone?
Yeah, but then he says, I've got a bad desire.
I didn't think it was sexual.
Oh, it totally is.
Not. Well, okay. When I started thinking it was related to the girl, I didn't think it was sexual.
What else could it be?
Before.
I want to play bumper cars with you.
Before the movie. All right, I didn't question it, but so I started thinking, oh, is it about the kid or some shit?
But no, I thought the only time it really dragged for me at all, and maybe just because the depression clearly wasn't really. I felt like the depression wasn't reading very well, and because I took his attitude more as artistic frustration than depression. I guess it could have been depression the whole time and I just wasn't reading it right. I was just like, I was relating really hard to the artistic frustration because I was like, this is great. I relate so much to this. But then it's like, it felt like such a left turn when he was like, I am suicidal. And I was like, because I wasn't reading that. So maybe that's why to me, that's when it started to drag, was their trip to California was when I was like, how long is this?
Yeah, I guess up until the suicide attempt with the car, I didn't quite get how depressed he was. And yeah, because they were playing up the, hey, they want to get, they had a great single, what was it, Hungry Heart?
I forget which one they were.
Yeah, I think it was Hungry Heart.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we got a great single. Everybody loves that. There's nothing wrong with great singles, Why don't you get some more? And Bruce saying, no, we've always been about the album. It's not just about the singles. Yeah. So it did feel like it was about that. At times, he did just seem also burnt out, too, which seemed like they could go hand in hand. Yeah. I didn't expect it to be that bad, though, for him.
It felt like something in particular, too, that I really relate to is like, once you start creating stuff, people then start saying what you should create next.
Yeah.
And it's a temptation to then immediately do the opposite of what everybody else is telling you should do. Or maybe not the opposite, but just completely ignore and do something that would be bad for your career, which is what he was doing because he just really wanted to do this one thing. So I was just like, I didn't even read that as depression. Like I said, it was artistic frustration to me. So it very well could have been. I just wasn't reading it like that at all. It felt a little out of nowhere to me.
Certain stuff like that, I wonder if it's like explained deeper in the novel.
I'm sure it is.
More thought process, more background.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm curious because like I had kind of said all the while, it's a biopic about Bruce Springsteen. Of course it's going to get Oscar nominations. And then it got completely torn apart by everybody. Now that it's bouncing back, I have a little bit of renewed hope. Maybe it could get nominated for something. Certainly not hair and makeup. But maybe Jeremy Allen White could get a nomination. I don't know who else. Maybe Jeremy Strong maybe could get a nomination.
As much as I like him, I don't know about that one for this one. He was solid, but
you know who got nominated for fucking what was the Bob Dylan movie called?
Complete Unknown.
Complete Unknown. Fucking Ed Norton got a nomination for that. Why? Because it was a biopic.
Listen, I'd love Jeremy Strong to get a nom. I like him.
Me too. If this movie was better received, you'd get like 3 random people in this movie getting nominated for no reason. But it's not being received well for whatever reason. I really can't. Like, what is such a big difference between this and the Bob Dylan movie? Budget is about it. And frankly, quality, because this one's better made. But nobody's else gonna say that because the other one was formulaic. This one wasn't.
You know what it was? Timothy Chalamet. He should have played Bruce Springsteen.
He really could have pulled that off.
This movie would have gone over gangbusters.
Jesus. He's probably gonna get a nom this year for Marty Supreme.
Oh, yeah.
Ping pong movie.
Yeah. I remember the trailer.
Yeah, he'll probably get a nom. He's the darling. I don't know entirely why. I think he's good. I don't think he's great.
I mean, you can clearly see he's kind of like the guy they want in that.
Yeah, and he's playing the game. I don't know. I feel like there's not a whole lot else to say about this movie because it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
It's just some really good acting, some okay, I don't want to say great, but some pretty good writing. And then I thought the directing was good. Like I said, I thought the music was good. Could have used... See, but this isn't even like a real complaint because like I could have used more live performances by him, but they clearly weren't focusing on that.
Yeah.
So
which probably is part of the reason it's
people are upset.
Yeah,
but
people want to hear the songs. And as much as Nebraska is a big album for Springsteen, and I'm sure a ton of really long-term or hardcore Springsteen fans really love that album. The Casuals, what did they get, like 3 hits in this one? To get 3 songs that probably the casual Springsteen fan might recognize?
3 or 4.
This might not be enough for it to be,
Did they actually sing
loved.
Glory Days or just mention it?
I think it might have been like a split second.
Probably did like the acoustic version.
Yeah.
Which see, that's what I found so entertaining was hearing like the acoustic demo version of Born in the USA. That was fascinating to me. I thought that was so cool. They don't do shit like that in biopics typically.
Yeah, that was some of those songs were interesting because like I knew this was the writing or they knew this was the movie about the production of the Nebraska album, right? So when I first heard that back when the movie was announced and you had brought it up to me, I, of course, went back to look at the Nebraska track listing to see what I recognized there, and there wasn't a hell of a lot that I recognized. So I didn't expect these other songs to be part of the writing process, and I know that's how it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Not everything you write at one point makes it to the complete next album. It might be a couple down the line, but that was pretty interesting to hear those versions and to know, oh, wow, he really was the next one that blew him up.
It's not going to be for everybody. But, like, if you're tired of the same old in all of these bullshit biopics, you'll probably find this very refreshing. And, like I said, I'm going to keep saying it, but human. It felt human. It felt real. Like, it felt genuine. Furthest thing you could get from the Elvis shit, Like, holy hell. And it kind of feels like how... I know back in when, Walk the Line came out, it was... And like nowadays, it's lampooned because it started all of those cliches and whatever. Yeah. But back when that came out, that was great. And this feels like that again. It feels like, okay, we figured out a new way to do this. So that's exciting to me. Once again, not a perfect movie. Still just a 7 or a 6.5 or whatever. But, yeah, it's actually a good movie. I don't know the last time I said that about a straightforward biopic.
Listen, let's not turn them all into good movies, okay? I need some bad ones to laugh at still.
Every other year, Baz Luhrmann should just make another one. That's what we had to think. We both enjoyed it, at least moderately. So what did you guys think? Let us know in the comments below if you guys saw it. Also, don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, all that. Thanks, guys.
Bye.